That's great. Okay. Now I'm going to play the 30-second counting down video and we are going to get ready to start. And at the beginning, I will invite each of you to introduce yourselves, and I will also, when I do the opening, I will also apologize that today Binance Square has some issues. So we are kind of delayed. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's go. 30-second counting down. Okie dokie, let me check. Jan, everyone, thank you so much for joining today's Binance Square, and thank you for waiting. I have to say that pretty sorry because previously Binance Square has some tech issues, so our session was delayed for about 45 minutes, and trust me, Moonlight was super nervous, and I was chatting with our speakers over here. We got 4 speakers, and I was also communicating with our project team members and communicating with our Binance Square team. So one person communicating with like 4 different groups of people, right? I was definitely really sorry for everyone that waiting for this AMA session to start, but the wait is over, and the wait is definitely worth it because today we're going to talk about a very important topic. We're going to talk about AI tools and AI agents, and we're going to learn about how OpenOcto reconstructs the on-trend prediction ecosystem over here. And right now, you guys could see that we have 4 amazing guest speakers joining us at our backstage over here. Like you guys could see Binance Square. We are so happy to have them. And they are the CEO Andrew, CTO JC, CMO Max, CFO Bernie. And today they are going to share a lot of their understanding regarding AI tools and AI agents with us. So be sure to stay tuned, stay here, and later I am going to also share some crypto boxes with our audience. Thank you so much for being patient and joining us tonight. And I would like to first let's starting from introduction. Okay, can we starting from, I see Andrew is over here, and Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself briefly? Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us here today. So I'm Andrew. I'm the CEO here at OpenOcto. So basically, I'm a Web3 community and growth operations specialist with over 4 years of experience in the digital asset market. So I was previously in charge of social media and community growth over at Crypto PhD. And I have also participated in Web3 ecosystem events, including ETH Denver and Token 2049. So really excited to jump into today's session. Thank you so much.
Wow, that is just marvelous. Thank you so much, Andrew or Andy, for joining us today. And we're also very happy to hear from your thoughts as well regarding AI tools and AI agents. Very popular topics right now. And next, we're going to invite JC, the CTO, to introduce yourself to our audience. Thank you so much.
Of course. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, super loud and clear and
awesome.
smooth. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Quick background on myself. I spent several years as an engineer at AWS, so I come from that large scale distributed systems world. From there, I ran a blockchain development agency for a while. So I was building across different various L1s, L2s. Was doing a lot of client work in the DeFi NFT infrastructure space, that kind of thing. Now I'm CTO here at OpenOcto, and we're bringing all of that together: the cloud scale architecture thinking, the on-chain experience, and now the AI agent layer on top. So yeah, I've kind of seen this evolution from all three angles. Gives me a little bit of a different lens on where we're headed, but I'm excited for what we're doing.
That is just marvelous. Thank you so much, JC, for joining us tonight. And we're very happy to have you talking about the AI tools and AI agents in the OpenOcto ecosystem. Can't wait for that. Next, let's invite Max. Max, would you like to introduce yourself? And Max is the CMO at OpenOcto. Thank you.
Hey, super happy to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Good,
Super smooth.
good.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'm Max. I'm the CMO of OpenOcto. I've been in crypto for 5 years now, mainly across advisory, BD, and marketing. I've worked on everything when it comes to kind of agencies, to projects, to incubators, mainly across DeFi, real-world assets, and GameFi.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Max. And we're also very glad to have you over here joining us today's Binance Square session. And next, everyone, welcome the lady, Bernie, CFO of OpenOcto. Bernie, would you like to introduce yourself to our Binance Square community members? Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Bernadette. I'm the CFO here. I have been part of this industry for about 4 years now. I used to grind hard as a paralegal, but then my husband was like, switch over to this. This makes sense. Yeah, I think like the prediction markets really are a great thing because we made some very bad decisions, impulsive decisions. So that's something that really excites me about OpenOcto.
Got it. Thank you so much, yeah, for letting us know about that. We are very happy to have you joining us as well because I have to say, like in the Web3 space, there are not many female funders, right? So Bernie, thank you so much for showing up here tonight. And now we're going to starting from our topic over here. And of course, like we say, the title, the topic of this AMA session is from AI tools to AI agents. We're learning about how OpenOcto is rebuilding the on-chain prediction ecosystem. And this AMA, we are going to explore some of the most important topics at the intersection of AI and Web3, including AI agents, on-chain prediction, sports forecasting, ecosystem growth, and the future of intelligent execution. Of course, it's really important that we wanted to discuss what happens when AI evolves from being just a tool that people use, right? Kind of like ChatGPT, and we chat and we got answers, right? And then into agents right now that we could actually help us to analyze, to design, and to execute a lot of important works. And of course, I want to remind everyone using OpenOcto as a case study. And we're going to dive into how this shift could reshape on-chain prediction platforms and open up new products and ecosystem opportunity in the Web3 space through OpenOcto. And now let's see. Okay, we are going to focus on several things. Why are AI agents becoming such an important focus right now? What are the first real use cases for AI agents in Web3 space? And why did OpenOcto choose to build around the on-chain prediction ecosystem? Also, what new opportunities could emerge as AI and Web3 continue to converge? With that said, let's jump into today's discussion topic. The first question, we would like to present it to our CEO, Andrew, over here. Andy, the first question is to get started. Would you, we already introduced yourself, right? So do you mind to share what you or the team currently focus on and also give us an overview of the project OpenOcto? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So my primary focus here at OpenOcto is on areas such as market education, narrative building, community growth, business model strategy, as well as content related to the intersection of AI and Web3. And as for OpenOcto, we see it as an AI-powered on-chain prediction ecosystem. So what that basically means is we're not trying to build just another AI chat product, and we're not trying to be just another trading platform either. So what we're building is something more integrated, a platform that combines AI prediction, on-chain execution, user-facing trading scenarios, and ecosystem growth mechanisms. So the main use cases we're focusing right now will include price prediction, event prediction, sports forecasting, strategy analysis, on-chain intelligent execution, as well as ecosystem incentives and community growth. So at the core, our thinking is very simple. In the future, users won't just need more information. They'll actually need better judgment and faster execution. And I think that's really where OpenOcto comes in. So we want to build an ecosystem around AI prediction, as well as on-chain use cases and agent-based execution logic.
Well noted. Thank you so much, Andrew Lee, CEO of OpenOcto, for sharing the answer to us. And of course, just like Andrew said, main use cases that right now OpenOcto is focusing on, right, including price prediction, event prediction, sports forecasting, strategy analysis, on-chain intelligent execution, and ecosystem incentives and community growth. So talking about ecosystem incentives and community growth, I believe there will be a lot of airdrops for our community members. That is just awesome. Also, regarding the sports forecasting, I have to say this year in the Web2, right, in the sports area, we have a lot of major events. For example, earlier this year, we just had Super Bowl, right? Football, if you like American football. And then in February, we have Winter Olympics in Italy, Milan, right? And then March, we just had WBC, right? World Baseball Classic. Oh my goodness. I was hoping that Team USA could win, right? But so also very happy to Venezuela as well. And later on, right? Later on, I think starting from April, we're going to see a lot of FIFA pre-game, pre-match going on. And then June and July would be the hottest months for sports forecasting, because all eyes, everyone in the world, are going to watch FIFA. Who doesn't like soccer? Okay, in America, we call it soccer, right? But of course, in other places, people call it football. Okay, so there are so many major events, and I believe that a lot of users will be able to use OpenOcto around the year. And thank you so much, Andrew, for letting us know regarding OpenOcto's overview and the current focus. Thank you. Next, we have our second question. Over here, we are going to present it to our OpenOcto CTO, JC. JC, well, as we know that working on a startup is not easy, right? So one of the biggest changes in AI world that over the last year we could see very clearly is that the conversation has started shifting from large models like LLM to AI agents. Especially this year, open cloud, right? Seems like everyone's having some clouds or buying a lot of Apple Minis, right? Wow. So it's all sold out, all stores worldwide. So how do you see the trend, the shifting of the trends? And why do you think AI agents are becoming the focus right now? Thank you so much. Question to CTO JC. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty natural next step for the industry. Over the last couple of years, the big question was whether the models themselves were just powerful enough. That's why people were so focused on model size, reasoning ability, multi-model capability, things like that. Now the market is entering an entirely different phase. Right? People are no longer asking just like how smart is the model. They're asking, can this thing actually help me get something done? And this is exactly why the conversation is shifting towards agents. So in my view, there are three big reasons for that. First is the underlying models have finally become capable enough to support more complete task execution. In the past, AI could answer questions or generate text, but it wasn't very reliable when it came to handling full workflows. Now with better reasoning, with better memory, tool use, and workflow orchestration, agents are becoming just much more practical. Second is the market is looking for products with actual utility. So basic chats and content generation, those are already becoming overcrowded, right? But if the agent can help users research faster, if it can help them make better decisions, help them even take actions, then the value proposition becomes much stronger. Third is that the agents are much closer to real user demand than simple tools. So a user may not pay long term for an AI that just chats, but they may absolutely pay for something that saves time, something that reduces decision costs, something that improves outcomes, or maybe even helps generate returns. So to me, large models were really the infrastructure phase of AI, and then agents are the product phase. You know, one is about capability, the other is about usefulness.
Got it. Okay, JC, you're definitely the CTO, right? Know all about the technology. And friends, if you are also in the tech area, then you know that JC does share the shift, the trends changing, right? From LM large model right now to AI agents. And I think the shift is also good for the broader users, because everyone could own multiple AI agents, and yeah, just from our desktop, and it's really, well, I have to say, more easier and easier to, you know, to build our own AI agents, right? In the past, well, it seems like we have to have a tech team, right, in order to do that. But at least here things start to change, and well, that's why we could see a lot of people has predict the world educational system and our job market will also be changed because of the popularity of AI agents right now. So let's wait and see. I'm definitely very excited about this. The next question, also the same for JC. Yes, because it's once again regarding technology. So everything techie. Yeah, we're going to bring it to you. For a long time, we know that people mainly thought of AI as a tool, right? We use it kind of like an app. Starting from, I remember 2024, around March, right? Start to very popular to download ChatGPT, ask questions, and then on X Twitter we also have Gork, right? And also Binance recently also push out Binance on AI tools, right, to help us to trade. And I'm also curious about what OpenOcto is working on. And so right now, more and more projects, like several examples that we shared with everyone, right? Those projects are trying to make AI proactive, allowing everyone to actually use the AI tools to finish our own tasks, right? So JC, how do you think about this kind of challenge from AI tools to AI agents, matching our title over here? And what does that really mean for the product design at OpenOcto? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty huge shift. So when AI is just a tool, the product logic is it's pretty straightforward. You ask, it answers, you type something in, it gives something back. But once AI becomes an agent, the product logic changes completely, right? The user is no longer asking a question, the user is giving the system a goal. And then once that happens, the system has to do a lot more than just respond. It has to understand the goal, it has to break up into steps, it has to retrieve information, it has to use different tools it might have. And then from there, it has to make judgments, has to execute actions, and then return an outcome. So I think the impact on product design shows up mainly in three ways. First is the entry point changes, right? Instead of entering through a feature, the user enters through a task, right? They're no longer looking for a function, they're assigning an objective. And then second, the architecture itself changes, right? An agent is not just one model sitting in the middle, it's a system made up of multiple coordinated capabilities, including task understanding, data retrieval, memory, tool use, reasoning, execution, and then also feedback. So the third is that the success metric itself changes, right? Before, most people mostly judged AI based on response quality, right? Now, what really matters is task completion, right? A real agent isn't something that just sounds smart, it's something that can actually deliver quality results. So for OpenOcto, that distinction is really important for us, right? We don't think of an agent as like a flashy assistant or a demo bot. We think of it as an intelligent execution layer that can participate in real workflows. So over time, that could mean helping users track market signals. It could mean, analyzing price movements, detecting trending events, support, sports forecasting, generating strategy suggestions, maybe even participating in standardized execution processes. So the real shift here is, it's from AI as a response layer to AI as part of the operational loop.
Well noted. Wow, I do learn a lot from you, JC. I believe our audience also believe in that. And well, everyone, this is very important. We have replays over here on Binance Square. So if you feel like some of the subjects that you wanted to circle back and learn more about what OpenOcto is working on right now, then you feel free to always come back and listen to or watch this AMA sessions replay. And yeah, just like JC said, right, OpenOcto doesn't think AI agent as flash assistant or demo bot, but they really are using it because this is an intelligent execution layer that everyone could use, and the AI agents could really join our real workflows. Well, that also reminds me, right now, a lot of companies, right, and then Web2 companies, traditional companies, we see they're actually emulating their jobs positions due to they start to use a bunch of AI agents to replace humans. Well, that's another topic. Maybe in the future we're going to talk about, humans versus AIs in the workforce. That's really important. And also, friends, starting from this year, you might also notice we have more and more AI agents joining our different companies or our life, right? As co-workers, like we could see, AI agents like helping us to analyze data 24/7 in our company's group chat and sending results to our emails. And we can also see AI bots that they are sending a lot of packages, right, on the streets and to different households in real life, which is super cool. So we're kind of like in the intersection of current and future, right? Super techy future right now. So, which is just nervous, but also happy to see it happening. And next question, we're going to circle it back to our OpenOcto CEO Andrew over here to talk about Web3 use cases, because it's another important question, and that is our discussion topic number 4 as well. So as Andrew, as we know, so many people are talking about AI agents right now. I could see all the posts over here on Binance Square, on X, and across different social media platforms. But there still aren't that many real products that have broken out, that have coming through, right? So Andrew, in your opinion, which Web3 use cases are the most likely to see AI agents succeed first? And we're definitely eager to learn about what OpenOcto is working on. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good question. So I believe the first breakout use cases in Web3 will be those where the pain point is clear, the output is measurable, and a big one where value to the user is immediate. So we have 4 areas that we're really bullish on at the moment. So the first is on-chain research agents. So the amounts of information on-chain is just overwhelming for the majority of users. So if an agent can automatically track capital flows, project updates, narrative shifts, and on-chain signals, then package all of that into a clear, structured insights, that's already a very, very valuable product. And then secondly would be trading and strategy agents. So users don't just want to know what happened, they want to know what to do next. So that opens the door for agents that can do things like track signals, suggest strategies, highlight risks, and potentially support execution. And then thirdly would be prediction-focused agents. So this includes price prediction, event prediction, and sports forecasting. So these are all areas where decision making depends on integrating multiple types of information, and that's exactly where AI can be very strong. And lastly is community growth agents. So this one is often very underestimated, but I think it definitely matters a lot. So AI agents can also create value in education, support, content distribution, incentive design, and operational efficiency for communities. But if I had to narrow it down to the categories most likely to gain traction, first I'd probably say on-chain research, trading strategy, and prediction-focused agents. Because in all those categories, users feel the value almost immediately, which I think is a very important aspect.
Nice. Thank you so much, Andrew, for enlightening us regarding the use cases, right, in the Web3 space. And well, definitely very valuable to our users. And right now, I see that we have over 1,000 live audience joining us on our Binance Square. Thank you so much, everyone. And we do hope that you could give OpenOcto a follow, because this is a team that is building in the AI and Web3 space, and they are working on the trending, the shift, right, from AI tools to AI agents. And of course, Andrew mentioned about on-chain research agents and strategy agents, prediction focused agents, community growth agents. Those are all of them are very useful tools, right? That could help us to do more detailed on-chain research and complete our trading strategy. Because I know a lot of the time, traders don't really trust themselves to make decisions, right? Because we are human beings and we might be impacted by different kind of or personal preference or emotions, right? So if there are agents that can help us to trade and to plan some strategies, that would be awesome. And also, OpenOcto are working on prediction focused agents. That's really important, especially just like we say, weather predictions, right? Or sports forecasting, right? All kinds of predictions that could use, and we could rely on OpenOcto's AI agents over here. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. Next, we have a question for the CMO Max over here. Let's talk about the ecosystem, because yeah, CMO usually help to grow the project, right? And overall the ecosystem. So why did OpenOcto decide to focus on the on-chain prediction ecosystem like we previously mentioned? And also compare with a typical trading platform or the traditional trading platform, or a standard AI product like a traditional AI tool. Where do you see the differentiation between OpenOcto and other projects? Thank you.
For sure, it's a great question. It's going to take a little bit of back and forth to dive into all the points there. But I think we chose it because it sits in the intersection of so many important parts of crypto, right? Which is like information, judgment, taking action, incentives, and real world events as well. But one of the issues is that in most cases, users are just getting bombarded with content and fancy dashboards that isn't valuable for their decision making, like you said. In crypto, the market moves so fast and the volatility is so high that there's just so much signal to noise ratio, and it's an issue for users. So we've tried to make decision making and judgment a lot easier for users with a few different products that we built in. So there's three main directions that we're working on, and reasons why we're working in prediction markets. And the first is that the prediction market demand is just so high at the moment, whether it's for price prediction or event prediction or sports betting or real life events that are happening. These are all natural and reoccurring events, and the volumes at the moment are insane to tap into. When it comes to the product side, AI is so good at essentially cross-analyzing the different information streams and creating better decision making than an average person would be able to. So predictions are fundamentally about gaining an edge over the market, right? Integrating signals, recognizing the patterns, and forming a good judgment that leads you to a winning trade, right? So AI is a perfect fit for this. The third is that crypto makes it easy to connect prediction with execution as well. Like Jesse had mentioned about our moving from a research layer to an execution layer, we've essentially tied in data, protocols, assets, and rules, all programmable on chain. So the prediction doesn't have to stay an opinion, it can go all the way through to execution. So our USP isn't just one product. We're building multiple products into one ecosystem. Everything from the AI prediction to real scenario trading to real-time price event and sports forecasting, and then the agent-driven execution layer, which will handle everything for you. So we put a lot of effort into building an ecosystem that supports both the user and it aligns incentives with ecosystem growth as well. So we're not just building another narrow product, we've built a broader ecosystem for judgment, execution, and ecosystem expansion.
That is marvelous. And Max, you actually mentioned a very important thing over here, that OpenOcto is not just building one AI tool, not just building one AI agent, but OpenOcto is actually a combination of different useful AI agents that our users could really add to our everyday workflow, right? Which is super important, very convenient. For example, like you mentioned, air prediction and trading and like even sports or price forecasting. I know some people made a lot of money by predicting Bitcoin prices, or right now people are also focusing on gasoline or oil prices, right? Or the result, or today what's going to happen for the war, right? Is it going to end or what? So a lot of price event and sports forecasting scenarios that we could rely on those AI agents, and of course agent driven execution logic and ecosystem growth mechanisms. I think this is going to be very useful for project teams. So I think in summary, you could say that OpenOcto is building a lot of useful AI agents for everyday users and also startups, right? If you are project teams, and feel free to also use OpenOcto's tools to build and to help your project to grow as well. And that's definitely very important, not just building a one tool product, but kind of like a very complete ecosystem for anyone who need some great AI agents. Thank you so much, Max, for answering that question regarding the OpenOcto's ecosystem. And next, I can't wait to ask our CFO, Bernie, regarding the big picture, because we know that usually girls are very careful, right? So could plan the large picture and then to share the future plan with us. So looking ahead, Bernie, if Asians and Web3 continue to converge, where do you think the biggest opportunity in this industry will come from? Thank you so much.
You know, I think the biggest opportunity won't come from building AI that is simply smarter. It's going to come from putting AI into a real value action workflow. I think there's 4 areas that we're really excited about. The first one is AI prediction and decision systems. You've heard quite a bit about it already. Over time, users are going to rely less on raw information feeds, and we've already seen that happening. And they're going to look for things that'll help them interpret signals and make very smart decisions. The second, we're looking at the combination of agents and on-chain execution. Once AI moves beyond just observation and explanation, it's going to start with participating in actual on-chain actions. And this is going to make everything become much more tangible. The third thing that we're looking at is the combination of AI and incentive systems. One of Web3's biggest strengths is the contribution, participation, and outcomes that can be tracked and rewarded on-chain. Everybody loves to be rewarded. That opens up very interesting possibilities of how agents may eventually participate in things like value creation, and value distribution. And the last thing that we're looking at is multi-chain collaboration. It won't be just one agent doing everything in future. It's going to look more like multiple specialized agents working together with some focused research, others on prediction, some on execution, and others on risk management, growth, so on and so forth. So to me, the real opportunity is not as much about building a better chatbot. It's more about building systems where AI can actually help move products, workflows, and ecosystems forward.
That is just... Oh, sorry, continue.
No, I'm done.
Okay, great. Yeah, I thought that was lagging again. So, but yeah, it's definitely just like Bernie shared with us, right? AI-driven prediction and decision systems. Actually, I have seen right now kind of like more and more people are relying on AI agents to, make real life decisions, right? A lot of times before we do something, we might check with AI. Hey, do you mind to based on today's information and the past history records, right? Could you predict for example, like VNV's price, right? What it will go tomorrow or maybe in 15 minutes, because I see a lot of short-term predictions are quite popular among our users over here on Binance Square as well. And talking about Binance Square, right now we have over 2,000 live audience joining us. Thank you so much, everyone. And feel free to share your thoughts or your feedback or some questions in the comment areas if you have any. And of course, the most important thing is to give OpenOcto a follow, please. Okay. And well, because we do really like this kind of AI Asian teams, right? Building really useful tools for our users over here. And Bernie also mentioned about combination of agents and on-chain executions. That is something our Web3ers are interesting about. And of course, combining AI and incentive systems, because, well, a lot of our Binance Square users like to participate different projects community incentive programs, right? We would like to getting some token rewards from different project teams during their TGE, and then we will complete a lot of tasks over here. So if there are AI agents that could help us to track all the rewards on chain, that would be super helpful to both the users ourselves and to the project teams as well, because it's going to, everything's very detailed and very organized and trackable. And multi-agent collaboration, this is something that I'm looking forward to, because just like earlier today, right, all of our speakers, Andrew, JC, and Max and Bernie, all mentioned that OpenOcto is not just building one tool, but it's actually building multiple useful AI agents for our users, right? So multi-agent collaboration will be something that I will really looking forward to see in the OpenOcto ecosystem. And of course, next, we got our discussion topic number 7, and we're going to circle back to OpenOcto CMO Max over here. Let's talk about the future, the roadmap, or the vision, because this is our very last question. I'm sorry today we keep you guys for, oh my goodness, quite long, due to previous Binance Square has some tech issues. But at the end, Max, could you please share a little more about OpenOcto's roadmap and what the community should be watching for next? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So the next phase has a few clear priorities. The first is increasing our AI prediction capabilities, mainly in price forecasting, event prediction, sports forecasting. These are really key areas for us. Second is that we want to push the AI from the analysis mode to the execution layer. So to bring that agent logic to the real buildable, usable workflows. Third is we're going to continue building out the platform ecosystem and the user framework. So everything from the user education to the community growth, obviously content is a big part of it as well. And then ecosystem incentives, like you just said, a huge part of every marketing campaign. Fourth is that we want to keep developing a more complete narrative around OpenOcto and the on-chain prediction system, prediction ecosystem as a whole. To sum it up, we don't just want to be another AI platform for analysis. We want to be the platform around prediction and execution and AI and growth when it comes to these predictions. But most importantly, the IDO is coming up tomorrow, March 20th at 9:19 p.m. Hong Kong. So I hope everyone will join us there.
Wow, it's coming soon. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Hong Kong time. So everyone definitely don't miss it. It's about 23.5 hours, right? 23 and a half hours. Okay, let's going to see this. Wow, it happens. Very nice. That's definitely a huge step for OpenOcto and the community. Congratulations, and friends, definitely don't miss out. It's tomorrow. Exactly one day. Okay, we would like to see the next generation Web3 ecosystem built around prediction, execution, growth, and lots of great AI agents. That's just amazing. And once again, I really wanted to first shout out to our Binance Square audience over here. I see that right now we have over 3,000 live audience joining us from over the world, and people are still joining. And once again, I wanted to apologize that previously, we opened another Binance Square link, but it didn't work. So, and appreciate Binance Square's technicians, right? All the people over there working really hard to help us to fix the connection issues and to debug. Thank you so much, because I know for a lot of people it's quite late night, right? For people living in Asia, it's already about 9:25 p.m. right now, right? So really appreciate we have a lot of engineers helping us backstage over here to make sure that our new link, our new Binance Square AMA link is going to useful and going to be connected smoothly without any issues. And also, appreciate our 4 speakers over here from OpenOcto. Thank you so much, Andrew, the OpenOcto CEO, JC, CTO, Bernie, CFO, and Max, CMO, for joining us and really patiently, because I have sent you guys multiple links. Like, we are trying, can you join this link? Can you join next link? Can you join that? And finally, we're back to our original link and it works again. So this is really interesting, event to happen. And I have been streaming on Binance Live and Binance Square for 4 or 5 years. And to be honest, this is the kind of like the first time we encounter this kind of issue. So I don't know, maybe because the project's too popular, and originally at the beginning we had over 6,000 live audience joining us. So they say maybe because we got too many people over here online. So that's one of the reasons. Well, but anyways, they fixed it, and right now we have close to 4,000. Going to come back more. Also appreciate all of you for listening over here. I think this conversation really gave everyone a much clearer picture of where AI agents are heading, how Web3 is evolving, and where OpenOcto fits into the bigger story. Also, one of the biggest takeaways from today's AMA session is that AI is no longer just about answering questions, not just like ChatGPT anymore, not just generating content, right? Not just write our Binance Square post for us, or create some pictures for us, right? Images for us, right? It's actually increasingly becoming part of our decision making, execution, and ecosystem coordination. Very important part of our everyday life right now. And that's exactly the direction OpenOcto wants to help you toward. It's a platform that connects AI prediction, on-chain use cases, and ecosystem growth in a meaningful way. So once again, thank you to everyone who joined us tonight. And be sure to stay connected for more updates from OpenOcto. See you next time. Thank you so much, everyone. Feel free to log off, and you could take a break, and we're going to looking forward to see you next time. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I am going to play some music. Check. Yeah, we have some music coming. And I'm also going to check over here. Yeah, because at the beginning, there are actually a lot of great things that they mentioned, and I wanted to share with everyone. So let's see. I'm going to check. All right, yes. At the very beginning, I'm going to make the music like softer. So at the very beginning, I would also like to mention as a kind of like as a summary, right, of today's session. So today we covered a topic that's getting a lot of attention right now. And as AI moves from being a tool to becoming an agent, how is that going to change the way Web3 products are built, used, and scaled? And also, you have seen that over the past 2 years, AI has moved incredibly fast, right? The technology, it seems like in the past, people used to say every 18 months that AI is going to just grow, the intelligence is going to grow to another level, right? But over the past 2 years, we see that it's going to be faster and faster. And we have gone from large language models, LLM, to multimodal systems, and now to one of the biggest things in the space, right? AI agents. And Allison tying Web3, we're also seeing more projects start to apply AI in real scenarios. Whether that's on-chain research, trading strategies, event prediction, automated execution, or even company growth, right? So that's exactly the backdrop in which OpenOcto was created. And OpenOcto is also building around a simple but powerful idea, bringing together AI power prediction, on-chain execution, user trading scenarios, and ecosystem growth onto one integrated platform. So during today's AMA session, we covered all of these discussions, trends in the abstract. And also we wanted to use OpenOcto's direction as a starting point to explore several key questions. Like we explored why are AI agents becoming such an important focus right now? Why are the first real use cases for AI agents in Web3, and also why did OpenOcto choose to build around the on-chain prediction ecosystem? And what new opportunities could emerge as AI and Web3 continue to converge, right? So we have covered a lot of the important topics over here. I'm so glad right now we still have about 5,000 audience joining us. We do hope that in the future that we would like to continue to see OpenOcto to grow. This is super exciting. And once again, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. I'm going to continue to play the music. And then later, we're going to do the replay. So let me check to see. Later, the replay should be ready.